Welcome to Vedanta Bhakti Pravachan channel. In this channel, we are seeing into Sai Satcharitra and learning so many things about Sai Baba. He is a precious jewel. We have to learn so many things from the Satcharitra. In this chapter, what Ahmad Pant is telling, let us see. When a man takes a plunge into sea, he gets the merit of bathing in all the tirthas and sacred rivers. Similarly, when a man takes refuge at the feet of Sadguru, he gets the merit of bowing in the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, and also Parabrahma. Victory be unto Sri Sai, the wish-fulfilling tree and the ocean of knowledge, who gives us self-realization. O Sai, create in us reverence for your stories. Let the readers and audience devour them with the same relish which the Chatak bird drinks the water from the clouds and becomes happy. While listening to your stories, let them and their families get all the true and pious emotions. Let their bodies perspire, let their eyes be full of tears, let their breath be steady, let their mind be composed, let vanish, let the hair stand on end, let them cry, sob and queer, let their hostilities vanish. When these things happen, that is a sign of grace of the Guru dawning upon them. When these emotions grow in you, the Guru is most pleased and will certainly lead you on the path of self-realization. The best way, therefore, to get free from the shackles of Maya is our complete and wholehearted surrender to Baba. The Vedas cannot take you across the ocean of Maya. It is only the Sadguru who can do so and make you see the God in all creatures. The various methods of imparting instructions followed by Baba have already been noticed in the previous chapters. In this, we shall deal with the aspect of it. It was the habit of some devotees to take Baba some religious books, of which they wanted to make a special study and to receive them same back from him. After they were touched and concentrated by him, while reading such books daily, they felt that Baba was with them. Once Kaka Mahajri came to Shirdi with a copy of Eknath Bhagavat. Shama took this book to read in the masjid. There Baba took it from him, touched it and turning some pages here and there, gave it back to Shama and asked him to keep it with him. When Shama said that it belonged to Kaka and had to be returned to him, no, replied Baba, as I was giving it to you, you better keep it. It will be of use to you. In this way, many books were entrusted to Shama. Kaka Mahajani after a few days came again and another copy of the same Bhagavat and gave it in Baba's hand. Then Baba gave it back to Prasad and asked him to preserve it well and assured him that it would stand him in good stead. Kaka accepted it with reverence. Shama and Vishnu Sahasranam. Shama was a very intimate devotee of Baba and Baba wanted to favor him in a particular way by giving him a copy of Vishnu Sahasranam as Prasad. This was done in the following way. Once a Ramadasi came to Shirdi and stayed there for some time, the routine he followed daily was as follows. He got up early in the morning, washed his face, bathed, and then after wearing saffron colored clothes and besmearing himself with sacred ashes, read Vishnu Sahasranama and Adhyatma Ramayana with faith. He read these books very often. After some days, Baba thought of favoring and initiating Shama with Vishnu Sahasranam. He therefore called the Ramadasi to him and said them that he was suffering from intense stomach pain and unless he took senna pods, the pain would not stop. So, he should please go to the bazaar and bring it the drug. The Ramadasi closed the book and went to the bazaar. Then Baba came from his seat to Ramadasi's place of reading the book, out the copy of Vishnu Sahasranama, and after coming back to his seat said Shama, this book is very valuable and efficacious. So I present it to you, you read it. Once I suffered intensely and my heart began to palpitate and my life was in danger. At the critical moment I hugged the book to my heart and then Shama, with the relief it gave him, I thought that Allah himself came down and saved me. So I gave this to you. Read it slowly, little by little. Read daily one name at least and it will do you good. Shama replied, that he did not want it, and that the owner of it, the Ramadasi, was a bad-tempered, obstinate and irritable fellow, would certainly pick up a quarrel with him. Besides being a rustic himself, he could not read distinctly the Sanskrit text of the book. Shama thought that Baba wanted to set him up against the Ramadasi by his act of his, but he had no idea what Baba felt for him. Baba must have thought to tie the necklace of Vishnu Sahasranam round the neck of Shama, and he was an intimate devotee, though a rustic, and thus save him from the miseries of worldly existence. The efficacy of God's name is well known. It saves us from all sins and bad tendencies, frees us from the cycle of births and deaths. There is no earlier sadhana than this. It is the best purifier of mind. It requires no paraphernalia and no restrictions. It is so easy and so effective. This sadhana Baba wanted Shama to practice, though he did not crave for it. So Baba forced this on him. It is also reported that long ago Eknath Maharaj similarly forced with Sahasranama on a poor Brahmin neighbor and thus saved him. The reading and study of this Vishnu Sahasranam is a broad open way of purifying the mind, and hence Baba trusts this on his devotee Shama. The Ramadasi returned soon with the Senna parts, Anachinchinikar, who was present and wanted to play the part of Narad. The celestial Rishi was well known for setting up confrontations between God and demons and vice versa, informed him of what had happened. The Ramadas at once flared up. He came down at once on Shama with full fury. He said that it was Shama who said Baba sent him away under the pretext of stomachache for bringing the medicine of this book, took away the book. He began to scold and abuse Shama and remarked that if the book was not returned, he would dash his head. Shama calmly remonstrated with him, but in vain. Then Baba spoke kindly to him as follows: "O Ramadasi, what is the matter with you? Why are you so turbulent? He is not Shama our boy. Why do you scold him unnecessarily? How is that you are quarrelsome? Can you not speak soft and tender words? You read these sacred books daily, and still your mind is agitated and your passions uncontrolled. What sort of Ramadasi are you? You are to the indifferent to all things. It is not strange that you should possess the books or so strongly. A true Ramadasi should have no mamata but have samata towards all. You are now quarreling with Shama for a mere book. Go take out a seat. Books can be had in plenty with money, but not men. Think well and be considerate. What worth is your book? Shama had no concern with it. I took it up myself and gave it to him. You know it by heart. I thought Shama might read it and benefit thereby, and so gave it to him." How sweet were these words of Baba, soft, tender and nectar-like. Their effect was wonderful. The Ramadasi calmed down and said to Shama that he would take Pancharatna Gita in return. Shama was much pleased and said, "Why one? I shall give 10 copies in return." So the matter was ultimately settled. The question for consideration is, why should the Ramadasi press for Pancharatna Gita, a book for which he never carried to no end why should be? Who daily read religious books in the masjid in front of Baba, quarrel with Shama before him? We do not know how to apportion the blame and whom to blame. But we only say that had this incident not happened, the importance of the subject, the efficacy of God's name and the significance of Vishnu Sahasranam would not have been brought home to Shama. So we see that Baba's method of teaching and initiating was unique. In this case, Shama did gradually study the book and mastered its contents to such an extent that he was able to explain to Professor G.G. Narke, MA of the College of Engineering, Pune, the son-in-law of Sriman Bhuti and a devotee of Baba. Vitthal Vision. One day while Kaka Sahib Dikshit was in meditation, after his morning bath in his Vada at Shirdi, he saw a vision in Vitthal. When he wanted to see Sai Baba afterwards, Baba asked him, "Did Vitthal Patil come? Did you see him? He is very elusive. Hold him fast, otherwise he will give up the slip and run away." Then at noon a certain hawker came there with 20 or 25 pictures of Vitthal of Pandharpur for sale. Mr. Dikshit was surprised to see that The form of Vittal he saw in the meditation exactly tallied with that in the picture. And he was also reminded of Baba's words. He therefore bought one picture most willingly and kept it his shrine for worship. Gita Rahasya. Baba always loved these who studied Brahma Vidya and encouraged them. To give an instance, once Bapu Sahib Jog received a post parcel. It contained a book of Gita Rahasya by Lokmanya Tilak. Taking it under his armpit became the masjid and prostrated before Baba. When the parcel fell at Baba's feet, Baba inquired what it is. It was opened then and there, and the book was placed in Baba's hand. He turned some pages here and there for a few minutes and took out a rupee from his pocket and placed it in the book and handed them, same with rupee of Jog, and said to him, read this completely and you will be benefited. Mr. and Mrs. Kapade. Let us close the chapter with a description of Kapade. Once Dada Sahib Kapade came with his family and lived in Shirdi for some months. Dada Sahib was not an ordinary man. He was an affluent and the most famous advocate in Amaravati and was a member of the Council of State, Delhi. He was intelligent and a very good speaker. Still, he dared not open his mouth before Baba. Most devotees spoke with and argued with Baba off and on, but only three, Kapade, Nulkar and Booty, kept always silent. They were meek, modest, humble and good-natured. Dada Sahib, who was able to expound Panchadasi to others, uttered no word when he came to masjid before Baba. A man, however learned may be even in Vedas, takes away before one who has realized Brahma and becomes one with it. Learning cannot stand before self-realization. Dada Sahib stayed for 4 months, but Mr. Kapade stayed for 7. Both were highly pleased with their Shirdi stay. Mr. Kapade was faithful and devout and loved Baba deeply. Every noon she brought Naivedya herself to the masjid, and after it was accepted by Baba, she used it to return to take her meals. On seeing her steady and firm devotion, Baba wanted to exhibit to others. One noon, she bought a dish containing sanja, puris, rice, soup and kheer and other sundry articles to the masjid. Baba, who usually waited for hours, got up at once, went to up and steal his seat and removing the cover of the dish, began to partake of the things jealously. Shama then asked him, why this partiality? At times you throw away dishes of others and do not care to take out them, but this appeal to you earnestly. Why is the dish brought by this lady too sweet? This intrigues us. Baba then explained, this food is really extraordinary. In former birth, the lady was a merchant's cow, yielding much milk. Then she disappeared and took birth in gardener's family, then in a Kshatriya family, and married a merchant. Then she was born in Brahmin family. I saw her after a very long time. Let me make some sweet morals of love from her dish. After saying this, Baba did full justice, washed his mouth and hands, bleached out his way, is fully satisfied and resumed his seat. Then she bowed down and began to shampoo Baba's leg, and he began to talk with her and knead her arms with her shampooing his legs. On seeing this reciprocal service, Shama began to joke and said, is it going on well? It is a wonderful sight to see God and his bhakta serving each other. After being pleased with her sincere service, Baba asked her in low and fascinating tone to chant Raja Ram, Raja Ram. Then it always and said, if you do this, your life's object will be achieved. Your mind will attain peace and you will be immensely benefited. To persons unfamiliar with spiritual matters, this must appear as a polite gesture, but really it is not so. It was a case of what is technically called Shaktipat, transference of power from the Guru to the disciple. How effect were Baba's word in an instant. They pierced her heart and remained there. This case illustrates the nature of the relations that should subsist between the Guru and disciple. Both should love and serve each other and as one. There is no distinction nor any difference between them. Both are one. and one cannot live without the other. The disciple placing his head at the Guru's feet is a gross or outward vision. Really and internally, they are both one and the same. Those who see any difference between them are yet unripe and not perfect. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all.